peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Now is the only thing that exists. I want to speak on just a vibe of lately, love. Not even say necessarily downloads, but just, as I've been strengthening in my meditations and strengthening my intuition, I always realize that as I'm becoming more and more clear, everything that's presented to me in my realm, as I'm being more clear, in my energy, is basically like, our higher self in the universe is always talking to us through, again, first internally, and then if we don't catch it internally, it speaks to us externally. But, just getting a lot of information that's, again, other than the information itself, looking at myself, because I've been grounding lately, going out in the nature lately, and valuing my connection with this earthly plane. And remember, one of the things I'm getting to, embracing our humanity, embracing our bodysuit. A lot of us still may not be embracing our bodysuit fully. And again, that's why the whole thing with the subconscious programming is so important, because we may know and heard before, like, went to one lecture or watched one video that told us, like, hey, you need to go into your body more, embrace your body. And you're like, all right, yeah, I'm going to embrace my body more. But, it's more than just us consciously saying I'm going to do it or just saying affirmations about it. It's really getting deep into the inner works, because another thing, too, that's so important is, knowing ourselves fully so we could heal ourselves fully. And vice versa, or, both of them going together, but, healing ourselves to the fullest and knowing ourselves to the fullest, Matter of fact, shout out to the brethren Shatam Nitama, connecting with some of his information, that resonate, with that whole little expression. But again, it's about us being, and I catch myself a lot of times, again, well, I should only be doing videos or doing certain things of that nature when it's just strongly within my intuitive vibration to do so, instead of feeling like, I gotta do this video. Again, any of our actions should never be out of fear. It should always be out of love. And one thing, again, that's coming through a lot is embracing our bodysuit, embracing our humanity. This bodysuit shits, piss, excuse my dictionary, shitting, pissing, having sex, that's another aspect we're gonna get into too, It's all a part of this bodysuit, and everything has a balance to it, like with the whole sexual vibe, they've created a situation where it makes it taboo and makes it to where people are scared to deal with it, and we're going to speak on that aspect as well, because matter of fact, with the sacral chakra development is influenced by our parents' relationship between each other, their relationship with other people, like friendships, it taps into our emotions. Matter of fact, what emotions we expressed or what emotions were repressed in our childhood, as far as like what we were told, like, oh, that's not an emotion you should give off. You should never cry as a man. Don't cry as a man. Shut that emotion down. And as a little kid, you're like, oh shit, and you shut that emotion down, and that fuck with your energetic system from that moment on. Other little aspects like that. Again, the sacral development is influenced by our parents' relationship between each other, with other people, and their attitude towards sexuality and their relationship with sexuality. And always remember too, we chose our parents, so don't go to like, oh yeah, my parents used to teach me this, or used to, and look at it as some bad or evil thing. Remembering that, again, we chose our experience. We chose to have an experience where we wasn't going to remember everything so we could learn. Because if I come into experience knowing everything, what could I learn? Like if I'm playing a game and I know the bad guy behind wall number 2, and after I pass wall number 2, I know that there's 3 people that's going to pop out. Like, and where's the enjoyment and the thrill of playing the game if I know every aspect of the game? You know what I'm saying? How could you learn anything if you know everything? You know what I'm saying? So also keeping that in perspective. But again, how our friendships develop, is due to what we watch with our parents. Were our parents very social, with other people? Like growing up, did you have like a lot of people visit your house? As far as like your parents having a lot of friends, or were your parents more closed in and more hermited, where they really ain't vibe with a lot of people? Did your parents only deal with relatives? Like when your cousins and aunties and uncles, you know what I'm saying? Or did your mom and dad, and again, guardian, because all of us may have not been, raised by our quote unquote bodysuit parents, but your guardians, the situation you were in as a child, whatever the case may be. Because again, I'm speaking on regular constructs, but again, it could be situations where somebody was in living conditions, being houseless, or being in an abusive situation, whatever the case may be. There's different aspects, but again, not being heavy-hearted. We chose these situations in order to learn and grow from it. That whole aspect of again, the social aspect with the friendship. The friendship, in essence, friendliness connects with the sacral chakra. Where your guardian's anti-social, where they fake towards each other. Because if, again, your parents had a type of relationship where they really felt a certain way, but they would hide their emotions, and then again, in telling you to repress your emotions, but you watching them repress their emotions. Well, my mom really, you might not even know too much what sex is, but you know that my mom is hiding the fact that she wants to have sex more. My dad is being all tight about sex and scared to have, and I'm, again, not speaking which regardless, but for the sake of my mom's persona and this and that, but I'm not talking about my own personal situation, but just in general, which, though, for the sake of like a learning experience, and I already let my family knows, like, hey, I'm gonna share experiences, throughout my, from growing up, what I'm saying, and some experiences may include some of my relatives, but I won't go too deep in detail on who it was and all that, but I'm definitely gonna tell some of these stories in order, to create these learning situations. Because for the most part, that's when we truly learn, is when we, when somebody be like, when I was 3 years old, I had this happen to me, and I had to make this decision, and this how things turn out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we learn from them situations, That's why we like musicians who, speak truthfully and authentically about what they're going through, instead of trying to paint this picture that, this inauthentic picture, positive and negative comes together. That doesn't mean we dwell in the negative, but the negative aspect is a part of the being, and we are whole beings. That's another aspect to get into. So not only embracing our humanity, embracing our sexuality, but also just embracing the wholeness of our being. Remember, it's not just spiritual, it's not just emotional, it's not just intellectual, it's not just sexual. It's combining all those expressions into, combine all those energies into one beautiful expression, like I did a video on, recently. But again, just want to, again, dealing with the sacral chakra development and, assessment of the sacral chakra, looking back at our parents, and that's just in general with our development, is going back to those earlier stages, because the root chakra, and I did a video on that a while back, like about, as soon as you come out of the womb, what happened? Did you get slapped on the ass and taken away from your mother, or was your mama awake and embrace you and hug you? You know what I'm saying? Was your mom full of all kind of drugs that they talked her into taking and stuff like that? Because that creates a distrust between you and your guardian. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of you may not be consciously aware of that, but that kind of creates some, like, hey, you let them doctors just hold me and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, not from an ego perspective in that sense, but you know, it does create some type of trauma, you know, and we're healing from all these aspects. But in order to heal it, we gotta be able to know what's going on in order to diagnose. You know, diagnose. The main word in diagnose is gnosis. Gnosis is knowledge, to know. So in order to diagnose something, you gotta know what's going on. You can't be running from any aspect of yourself. You're never gonna heal yourself fully as a whole being if you're running from parts of yourself. You know, you gotta embrace the wholeness of your being, embrace every aspect. You know, and this is, I'm saying it. You know, yeah, this, you know, may come off as you know, difficult work, but it's you know, it's not. It's just you know, us trusting the process and doing what we gotta do. You know, put it like this: it may seem difficult, but I'd rather do something that may seem difficult to get results of, you know, blissfulness and being in alignment. You know, and not living in a hellacious manner. And to each his own, though. One man's God is another man's devil. You know, one being's hell may be another being's heaven. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people like living in lesson loops and going through the same things over and over. Some people may like that or love that. You know, some of us don't love, you know what I'm saying? And we be in different parts of our growth. You know, like at one point, you know, reincarnating down here, we obviously kept connecting to this realm, so we kind of kept coming back into these loops or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it was something enjoyable to, you know, at one extent or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's your perceived energy, you know? But again, with the sexual aspect, a lot of us are affected from, you know, say for instance, our parents never expressing sex comfortably or openly. You know, like, you could feel and know that your parents was having sex or something like that, but it was like a hush-hush rule. So that goes into your mind. You feel like, oh shit, sex is something that shouldn't be talked about. Like, we should know we're doing it, and know that's what sometimes we're looking for in our connections. Not say looking for, but, you know, in essence, because ain't nothing wrong with connecting on a sexual level. You know, we're not looking for just a body connection, because again, we should be connecting on a level where we are connected. You know, you should never be having sex, and again, to each his own. I'm not telling you what to do. You know, take what resonates, what don't. But in a you know, in a healing type of situation, you know, what I'm gonna say, see, but just get back to expressing the sexual vibe on a comfortable and open level, you know what I'm saying? Not feeling like it's taboo or like you gotta run away from it, you know? And that's what I was gonna speak on, like, you know, dealing with sex. You know, it should be in a connection with somebody who you really vibe with, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that you have a high level of, you know, connection, respect, and reverence, and, you know, because it's not always the romantic love in that sense, you know what I'm saying? As much as we love each other as beings, and we would love to connect and catch that vibe. And also, you got sex magic, you know, with the womb. As a matter of fact, Shatam Nityama said that too. It's like the masculine aspect is, you know, it's like ride, and not on no negative aspect like a leech or a parasite, but, you know, like during the sexual experience, you know, again, the queens could have orgasms up to like 3 hours long. They could still be having aftershocks, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another important thing too, you know, another reason why we're dysfunctional sexually, because we've been misplaced on the, you know, on a vibe of like our masculine and feminine energies. You know, you got the queens, the females, the feminine energy, embracing like the masculine energy to the point where they're like pseudo males in that sense. Even walking around, like, say for instance, it's a heterosexual being, but still like embracing, like, again, like the female energy, embracing a lot of masculinity. So they walking around and like trying to be a boss and trying to, you know, dictate certain things in a certain manner, you know, on a masculine level, you know what I'm saying, when it's meant for them to, you know, just be more loving, more magnetic, you know, and more in their feminine nature. You know, it's not about you know, they tricked everybody into this again, like knowing that, yeah, we're interconnected, and yeah, nobody is necessarily above nobody in the sense of superiority and inferiority, But again, I say, but they they trick these certain beings into like having a. That's what I was gonna say, like the equal rights thing. So I want to play football just like a man, or I want to lift weights just like a man. Like like the whole point of our attraction, and to each his own. Like I'm speaking truth, so as I'm speaking truth, put it like this. The with the heterosexual vibes and this and that, I'm not knocking nobody else. I'm just speaking on the truth. And I didn't even have to do what I just did right now, but just to be a little democratic, I'm gonna say it like that. But anyway, the whole aspect of attraction is, like the female looking like the female and the male looking like the male. Embodying those traits. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, not knocking nobody, but again, from the food to the unhealthiness of spiritual practices and just ways of being, you got also, queens that's not necessarily shaped like queen, you know what I'm saying? Like, got a female might have broad shoulders and like neck muscles and, like have this over masculine vibe where, it's like, I want to connect with a queen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to connect with somebody who's trying to be like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to connect with somebody who's of the opposite nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to touch on something soft. Like, I'm hard. I lift weights. I'm muscle. You know what I'm saying? When I connect on a sensual, sexual level, and connecting on the touching vibes, I want to touch something soft. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that whole aspect, and then again on the masculine vibes, like a masculine energy being embodied in that masculinity, not getting all soggy and having a big beer belly and soggy gut and inside, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have a certain, and again, to each his own on your growth. We're all growing and dealing with things, but realizing like this how much they have displaced situation in this realm of reality. And remember, this is a dream realm. You operate in this dream realm in a way that resonates with your heart and soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not telling you how to do things or how to be, but I do know, and I say but, and that's another thing, like moving, but like there's no rebuttal, but anyway, like speaking on these things and realizing that, this is the essence that keeps a certain flow. Like, that's the whole aspect of us, doing videos about being in the now. Say, for instance, I'm not telling you, hey, you better be in the moment, but we know that, hey, the moment is where our soul aligns, you know what I'm saying? Like, so with that factual situation, I'm gonna share that, hey, it's important to be in the now. So not that I'm trying to tell you, hey, you better be in the now. Like, it's to each his own. It's a free will universe, but we do know that connecting with the now, creates a certain type of, strong connection with our soul. So as I'm talking about connecting with sex and, the female aspect not over exercising and being overly masculine, and the masculine aspect not being overly feminine or being soggy about their being or whatever, to each his own on your growth. You know what I'm saying? Whatever resonates with you. But you start to realize that we resonate certain ways due to not being like, we realize how much more there is to being connected. It's like, because remember, our ancestors, certain beings was in this realm of reality without Wi-Fi, without harmful ass foods and all kind of like buildings and stuff obstructing nature and things of this nature. So that connection was real strong. And if we tapping into that realm, then we have to realize that, not in a difficult manner, there's a lot of work to do, but it's like, there's a lot of work to do. We've been thrown off into certain aspects, and having to remember, who and what we are. But again, embracing the sexuality, more. And that aspect of, again, connecting with our bodies, breathing into the bodies more. I've been working on, matter of fact, the transcendental breathing, which is basically continued breath. Like, so as you inhale in between the inhale and exhales, there's basically no pause. It's like, like that, you know. Matter of fact, you'll start to see like the transcendental breathing create like this blissful state. Because I realized as soon as I started doing it, it's almost like playing an instrument, like, and sometimes you're playing an air instrument, and you kind of like, you know, your oxygen is going in and out so much you're barely holding on to it in essence. So it kind of makes you a little lightheaded or dizzy, quote unquote. You know, but that transcendental breathing kind of has that aspect. But that connected breath, you know, just kind of creating that our connection with the constant flow of the universe, you know, and that ebb and flow, and just staying in that flow, like no stagnant energy, you know, like keeping things from being stagnant, you know, helping clear energy. And again, when the chakras clear, you know, we're healthier in all the multiple aspects. Go check out my chakras video, my chakra playlist. If you're unfamiliar with chakras in general, you know, if you're just new to chakras and all this, you know, you just getting into this, you know, go learn about the different aspects of the chakras, but, you know, balancing the chakras, you know, with all these different breathing techniques. Also, I got videos on the organ healing breathing techniques, you know, like that's the sound for the lungs, and as you're doing that sound and breathing out, you're envisioning the white light within the lungs, and envisioning your lungs smiling back at you like, hey, thank you. You know, but go watch that video to check out that aspect, you know, so that's another aspect. Also the shamanic anchoring, I got a video on the shamanic anchoring, you know, breathing technique and visualizing, you know, your card leaving out the top of your head, going into the center of the galaxy, aka the yoni of the primordial mother, you know what I'm saying? And then you also envision, you know, the card going through the legs and down into the earth star chakra, and also into, you know, the mother aspect on the physical plane, you know what I'm saying? Because the earth is like the physical aspect. Think of earth is like our, not necessarily, but like our auntie in essence, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's like our primordial mother, like, hey, you're going to stay with your auntie. Like, you going to your auntie house, because you need to learn these lessons, this and that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sending your ass to your auntie Earth. Your auntie Gaia gonna get you right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, in a little personification, not necessarily saying technically it's our auntie, but, you know, which with all these, I did a video though on incest and all that, so technically it could be our auntie, our sister, and our daughter, shit. But, you know, without falling into that, you know, but again, you know, connecting, so with the shamanic anchoring, you know, connecting deep into the you know, going into the yoni of the earth, and connecting with the earth, you know, and connecting with the primordial mother, and having that double connection. So you had that exercise too, and then too, just in general. And also I realized, like, every now and then too, to start breathing with my mouth, you know, like, of course, you know, for the pranayama breathing, you know, in the microcosmic orbit, you know, we're breathing in the nose and out the nose, you know, and as we're breathing in the nose, you know, watching you know, envisioning the kundalini energy raising from the root chakra up the spine, you know, to the bina, or the crown area, like where the soma chakra at. Now this how, you know, within our, you know, head. Then on the exhale, envision that energy going back down into the root. And on the inhale upwards, you know, you could have that strong envisioning, like, you know, having your focus be in the head area, but then on the exhale, you know, move that concentration and focus to the genital area. Because again, that's another thing too, like, as we're doing our breathing and bringing it down into the gut, down into the sacral chakra area, you know, envision, you know, focus on the energy going into the genitals, you know, again, because ain't nothing wrong, because I bet you some of you like, oh, into the genitals, like, that's bad, or, you know, I'm not, like, because literally, like, say for when somebody bring up sex, it's just as if they're saying something bad or trying to force you to do something that is wrong, you know. It's like, oh, I don't want to focus too much on the genitals, I'm trying to transcend our bodysuit. Yeah, of course we're transcending being dependent and letting our bodysuit run us, you know what I'm saying? But the fact is, we're here to balance and connect with our bodysuit, you know what I'm saying? Like, embrace our vehicle. What you think this earthly plane is basically the earth of God, the soul of Gaia or earth, embracing its bodysuit, embracing its experience, you know what I'm saying? And as above, so below, as within, so without. As soul shards that chose to come into this experience as little cells on this earthly plane. And when we say earth, this is also like a chakra within another being. You could think of it like that as well, you know what I'm saying? Like the mother aspect within another being, because we have the mother aspect within our being, you know what I'm saying? But of course, us having to tap into it, and and again, as you hear mother, the masculine energy is still there, you know what I'm saying? It's just that, for one, we've been dealing with an overly masculinized situation, within this realm of reality. But then also, ultimately, everything kind of stems back to that mother energy, you know what I'm saying? The primordial mother, who's able to produce by herself, aka hence being that energy, the primordial aspect, is more feminine than masculine. And that's also as above, so below, as within, so without. You got the Ida and Pingala, the masculine, feminine energies that rise up the Kundalini, but then ultimately, the energy is a primordial, feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? Like that, basically, like kind of like that rises up the Sushumna, so we connect them with that energy. But matter of fact, Shaitan Nijama, another aspect, he dropped some sauce on where it's like, because he was asked about, like, because he's talking about too, like being that reflection, like when we connecting with the divine feminine aspect, connecting with, like, basically being a mirror in essence. And being a mirror doesn't mean I'm being a woman, but being a mirror as far as like reflecting that divine feminine energy and that care and reverence and respect and love for that feminine energy in a reflective manner, like, again, like being reflective of that mother energy, but he was like, but like I could still like grab you behind your neck like a barbarian. You see? Like I grab you behind your neck like a barbarian during sex. But he's like, with that masculine energy present, but yet, because you feel that motherly reflection coming from my being and oozing from my being, you loving that, like, even though I'm, grabbing you like that and having that masculine energy presented in that manner, you still feel the embracing of the mother energy and that connection, you know what I'm saying? And again, that's why I like tapping into the aspect of the Shiva Lingam, and I got a video speaking on that as well. Again, it's about us embracing our sexuality and not running from it. And to each his own. Again, like, as I'm saying this, we all unique in our experience, and at certain levels of healing, and I think about like a certain aspect of like came across, like, if somebody has been being and I ain't gonna get into that aspect, I connect, because that's in another video, so I'm not about to speak on that aspect. But just the whole aspect of, of healing, sex, and not necessarily healthy sex, because that word, again, we take certain words in our subconscious and we take it in a manner like, again, like sex doesn't connect with spirituality, which sex is like sex and spirituality go, one and the same, it's hand in hand, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you think manifestation is, and all the things that come about into this physical realm is due to, sexual energy, you know what I'm saying? Masculine aspects coming together with the feminine aspects and entering the course, connecting and creating some type of situation, some type of energy. But again, dealing with that childhood development, though, how our parents associated with, certain aspects of sex and our genitals, like, matter of fact, our view about our genitals, and how uncomfortable we are with it, where our parents making being naked seem like that's the devil, you know what I'm saying? And like, don't be sensual with yourself, like, don't touch yourself, at all. Like, if you ever touch yourself or this and that, you're doing wrong. Like, all that goes into, the subconscious programming and how we deal with sex, as we grow, you know what I'm saying? So connecting on that level. So, matter of fact, diaper changing experiences, also like, who was changing our diaper and what energy they were giving off when they were changing it, and not necessarily on no molestation vibes or any of that, but wish to bring it up because it does happen. It's part of certain things that play out in this dream world for certain beings to learn certain lessons is that certain aspect. But again, like, your diaper changing, like, and although you weren't consciously talking back at that time, you still was receiving the energies being given off, or like, the vibe of like, if your genitals will again like have your genitalia area seen as taboo or seen as something that's wrong or something that you shouldn't embrace or learn about. And I mean, you look at the whole school aspect where they don't teach us about our anatomy until we like up in high school, and that is almost like, oh, you can't learn about sex, even though in the 3rd grade I'm asking playing a let me see yours, I'll show you yours, you show me mine vibe, you know what I'm saying? And again, as I'm saying that though, just more so as an example of showing you how, like, like shit, we learn about these things and come into these things on our own regardless at a young age, so it shouldn't be that much taboo. And not to say that, hey, you sit your son or your daughter down or whatever at the age of 5 years old and be like, hey, look, sex is, but it's not being scared or running, like it's allowing for it to come up. So when that comes up in that child's realm, what I'm saying, you could be able to share without making it taboo, what I'm saying, and making it like, oh, be scared of your own self, be scared of your own humanity, be scared of, like, that's basically what we're saying when we're doing that. Again, is like, be scared of your own humanity, be scared of something that comes natural to you. So that's why so much conflict within a lot of our being, because we're denying something that our bodysuit naturally connects with. Like, my penis naturally gets hard whenever I'm aroused. Now that doesn't mean that just because it gets hard, I'll go and have sex, but at the same time, that function exists, for a reason. It's something that I shouldn't be ashamed about. Female's yoni gets wet for a reason, what I'm saying? Like, again, a female is able to have an orgasm up to 3 hours long. So think about that. Like, if that's something that's, that a female is capable of, then, like, source, the creations, like, the whole aspect of creating things in this realm, what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be in alignment. So, like, if a being has sexual energy and again could be orgasmic for that long, then it's not for that being to be like, all right, I can have an orgasm up to 3 hours, but I'm gonna go to church and be a nun and just denounce my God-given gift of sexuality. I'm gonna just say fuck that, like, and just throw that out of the way. Fuck my body, fuck connecting on a sexual, and the irony of what I'm saying, excuse my diction, forget all these aspects of my bodysuit, and I'm just go, I'm gonna go follow these rules and regulations that somebody told me. Because another thing we're moving out of, like, again, like, listening to our body, listening to our inner being, like, listening to our inner source and inner guidance, and listening to our connection with our body. Again, getting out of our mind. Our mind is a tool, and the mind necessarily wasn't meant to, be in the driver's seat. It processes information, on some type of level, but it's not for us to be like, just like, all right, let me allow for my mind to make this decision. It should be more so from inner source, inner guidance. As a matter of fact, that gut feeling and being in that body, that solar plexus is also like an anchor into the body as well, But it's that bodily connection, stepping out of our minds, getting more into the body, and again, with certain breathing techniques, visualizing that air coming down, what I'm saying? Because of course you got the microcosmic orbit when you're breathing, you're watching the energy rise from the root to the crown back to the root, but also just in general when you're breathing deep, envision that, that energy going into your, your genital area, you know what I'm saying? And release on the exhale, you're releasing all that tension, all those blockages, you know what I'm saying? Like, and becoming more and more clear. Because, again, like, I see, like, this aspect of, because sex still on a subconscious. That's why the subconscious is so deep. Because again, we could tell ourselves, "Oh, I know that sex is something spiritual and that I should connect with it." Like, even though I could say that with my conscious mind, if I don't work on that on the subconscious level constantly, then I'm a constantly still manifest a situation that says that I'm still scared of my sexuality. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still scared to embrace it, regardless of my conscious mind say, "Oh yeah, I embrace it." Like, well, you got to work on your subconscious to make sure that we know for sure that, it's not taboo and that nothing is wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? And again, always bring it up to each his own on your journey. But it's never running away though. Because even in one of those videos where I said for, some people, maybe a healing aspect is not having sex at all, but again, maybe that may be the first beginning stage in order to start stepping back into that realm of connecting. But, whenever we feeling like we're locked up on some type of level, it's not, just not fully embracing, like, again, like, the aspect of all chakras being in alignment, and everything being a certain flow. Whenever, it's not like that. And again, whenever our chakras may be out of balance or, not in alignment, that doesn't mean that it's something bad or something wrong or we're out of alignment in essence. But more so, like, the bigger picture, you're always in alignment. You just constantly, should be doing the work to maintain that alignment. But it's never like, there's never anything bad happening or wrong. It's all a part of the growth, to teach you to stay in alignment. You know what I'm saying? Like, resistance makes strong. You deal with something that creates a resistance, but you fly farther, ahead due to that resistance. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically it. Again, that sacral development, sexual energy. There's no separation in spirituality and sexuality. Back at our parents' relationships, with other people and themselves, again, on the sacral chakra vibe, were our guardians antisocial? Were our guardians fake towards each other? Were our guardians, did our guardians express sex comfortably and openly? Or were they, like, oh, that's taboo and we should never talk about it? Kudos to those who grew up in who chose parents in a situation where, they grew up knowing how to embrace sexuality, because that's a beautiful thing and that's very important. Like, I definitely, much love and blessings to those energies. Matter of fact, because just by them holding that space in a natural way, that's going to help affect us, and we can learn from that just energetically. They putting a certain energy out there into the collective by maintaining that space. So I appreciate that. Shout out to that. Shout out to us growing too, but definitely, that vibe. But again, did our guardians have petty arguments all the time? Because then you're going to be, in your friendships and your relationships, you're going to be looking to have petty arguments and be mad at your partner for no reason, just because because the subconscious is programmed that this is how my parents operated, so this is how I should operate. And again, that's why we have to actually sit back and observe and tap into our subconscious and tap into it without being scared to face, every aspect of it. Like, not run away from any aspect of ourselves. Because again, in order to do a proper diagnosis and help, treat something, again, gnosis is to know, to really acknowledge what's going on in order to really fix it. Just being buddy to keep things afloat, where you could feel and know you watched your guardians deal with a situation, where they wanted to divorce, but they didn't. They stayed on some, because again, with that aspect, beings don't have to necessarily stay together. It's just maintaining a healthy connection, like which not getting too deep in that, but like with the divorce vibe, like you don't have to be fake and hold a relationship together just for the kid, as much as it should be just holding a healthy, friendship together, but that's not necessarily having to be like a husband and wife, quote unquote, if the energy is not there anymore. But at the same time, still being, again, because of what unconditional love is loving each other unconditionally. So no matter if, we don't feel each other on that type of level in a relationship, but still keeping, some type of connection, especially for those guardians or parents, in those situations, but still wanting to keep a healthy aspect or environment for the child that's growing and learning from everything that child seeing from the guardians, again, is affecting what plays out later on. But that's basically it. Again, connecting with our body, and again connecting with the primordial mother, as above so below, as within so without. When we earthing and getting barefoot in nature, that's basically like connecting with the bigger body, what I'm saying? So that's another, again, what's important, connecting with that bigger body, that mother, divine mother aspect, what I'm saying? Because that's the energy that's coming through and really healing things right now, the divine mother aspect, that real essence of the creator, what I'm saying? Because again, as above so below, as within so without. That's why on a human level, at some points, which I'm still sure that could be tapped into again, but but it was for that time, as far as like the female aspect being able to have immaculate conception and birth beings without having to have physical sex. Again, that was for that moment, what I'm saying? Because again, that's what our now is about. Like, what's best for our moment, what I'm saying? Like, knowing what's best in our moment and how to apply it in our moment, and knowing when it's best for our moment, what I'm saying? Like, again, knowing when being intellectual is best for our moment and going with the flow with it, knowing when sexuality is best for our moment, going with the flow with it. Like, whatever aspect of growth is best for our moment as beings in this dream world or this plane of existence, what I'm saying? It's like, at one time it was good for the beings to, again, for the queens to just procreate by themselves, because that was the beginning aspects of things. So that was what was best for that moment, what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely again, embracing our bodysuit, embrace your humanity, like the whole reason why, again, we feeling like we're torn apart because we're not fully embracing some aspect of ourselves. Like, it's about holistic health, being the whole, In fact, that's what the name Catholic, even though Catholic religion don't embrace that aspect, but the whole etymology of Catholic, cat, connecting with the feline energy and the nine energy, cat having 9 lives, nine connected with Kali Mana. I spoke all of that, tied that together. But cat, holistic, Catholic, holistic. The cat is all. The cat is whole. The whole, dealing with the cat energy. No coincidence that we call the yoni the pussy or the cat, and that connection too. And again, not for us, oh, you said pussy. Now, of course, it's been used. I didn't mean it in a derogatory way, but like not being afraid to embrace these different aspects of our bodysuit, our being. And look, as I'm speaking, I'm talking to myself. The whole reason, again, because I be catching the loads of all right, because matter of fact, again, I've been earthing every day, getting in that sun, connecting. So whatever I feel a vibe to research and connect with and speak on, I know that's delivering a bigger message, Again, connecting with this earthly plane, being a vessel, a cell in a bigger body. But again, just lastly, embracing our being, embrace humanity, embrace being a human. You know, again, like, and I think I got an affirmation like that. Like, I am creator of this dream realm. Although it's temporary, I appreciate all my creations, from the infinite creations to the temporary creations. Wealth and abundance comes through my connection with the soul of Earth, being a cell within the network of a bigger body. Like, that's the whole aspect, though, connecting with this, our bodysuit, and with the bodysuit of the soul of Earth, you know what I'm saying? Like the bodysuit of Earth, and our bodysuit, which in essence comes from Earth as well, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's connecting again with the body, because and again, watching myself, and that's where, too, I realize, again, with the pranayama breathing, to always make sure that, it's a full microcosmic orbit, that it's not just bringing energy up into the head and up into the thought space, and I say thought, but up into the mind area, also bringing it down into the body and into the genital area as well, you know what I'm saying? Again, balancing that flow. But again, embracing the bodysuits, and I already spoke to that before, like, it's like a car, like, just because I go and clean my car up, and shine it and buff it and make sure it's looking nice and put gas in it and make sure the engine right, doesn't mean that I'm obsessed with that car and I don't know that I'm a soul that's way more than not only my bodysuit, but the car I'm driving. Like, just because I'm driving that car and taking care of it doesn't mean, and the same thing with this vehicle, like, does it mean I'm trying to get stuck in the matrix just because I'm brushing my teeth and washing my face? Like, think about that, because that's basically what we be saying, like, by not embracing our body. It's like, oh no, I gotta fuck over my body to show that I'm trying to leave this realm. And it's like, no, like, take care of your body. It's just the subconscious programming to know to fully detach from this realm and know that you are more than your bodysuit. But that doesn't mean I gotta fucking cut the bottom of my feet so I won't be able to walk, because I just like my bodysuit good, so I'm gonna just fuck over. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, embrace your bodysuit, embrace your humanity, embrace being, again, being grounded. Again, it's not, we don't have two chakras. Like, we don't have, we don't only just have two chakras, as far as, like, we don't have just a third eye chakra and a crown chakra, We also have a throat chakra, a heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral, and root. We also have knee chakras, and earth star chakra, that ground, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's a whole being. And again, it's a constant growth, but just always remembering to be whole, and again, to know ourselves to the fullest, and in order to heal ourselves to the fullest, like, we should notice, like, becoming so connected with our body, we notice any and every little small change in our body. Like, I could notice, like, pay attention to a ring being able to fit one day on my finger and then not fitting so tightly the next due to my diet, like, because I fast a little bit, and kind of lost a little weight or something like that. But, like, every little aspect, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to know. I think about even again, like, tapping into because the body always, speaks to us, like our body movements, bowel movements, how we connect and vibe with people, how nervous, like, all of the body tells the story of what's going on. And also, again, like, the left side of the body deals with the right brain, the right side of the body deals with the left brain. The left brain is logic, the right brain is intuition and feminine. So the left brain, the masculine, right brain the feminine. And you could tell, like, if somebody writes in cursive a lot, like, they tapped into their feminine energy. If they write more so, like, in print with straight lines, they tap more into their masculine energy. Some of us do the half cursive, half straight lines, kind of like a little balanced vibe. But I was gonna say, like, even down to somebody walking, like, if somebody, like, pressing hard on their right side, or they tight, like, it seems like their right leg kind of tight when they walk, and they're very rigid in their logic, you know what I'm saying? Or if they, you know, are the left side kind of tight, you know, or whatever, you know, they're being rigid about their feminine energies, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I may be speaking to hindering, you know, whether, because sometimes whether it be like a limp or a strong, you know, like a stiffness or whatever, and again, just those little certain aspects that speak to what we're dealing with, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on. But like right now, again, embracing your connection with your body, and that's on the as above, so below, as within, so without. So it's also not only your little bodysuit, but also the earth, because the earthly plane is a bodysuit for, you know, for something, a sentence as well. You know what I'm saying? And so embracing that connection, you know, getting to a space where, again, we realizing, like, backtracking with chakra health and stuff as well, like, you know, like making sure we looking into root chakra health. What's a healthy root chakra? What's a healthy sacral chakra? What's a, you know, and again, I got videos speaking on it, but, you know, doing your own research, tapping into your own body suit, seeing, you know, what works for you, and connecting with your, you know, your own inner source, you know, like, again, knowing thyself to the fullest, you know. But that's why I had to catch myself with doing videos. Is like, you know, getting to a place where I was like doing videos in that sense, but not necessarily like the balance was starting to go off a little bit, where instead of like making sure I'm taking care of myself to the fullest, it's like I'm trying to do videos more than trying to making sure that I'm all the way in alignment and taking care of myself, you know. So I had to, you know, like a certain little spurts fall back, you know, and make sure I'm just constantly working on myself, you know. And again, it's a balance going with the flow of, like, you know, I know I'm working on myself, but I also know that I am a being that's, you know, from the earliest stages in my little earthly existence, being shown that, you know, articulating myself through speaking to people is my gift, and, you know, in some way, form, or fashion, you know, I should be running my mouth, but not, you know, over talking about, you know, but in some way, form, or fashion, it's, you know, the sword, it's the weapon in this lifetime that I'm very good with wielding. So again, even if I gotta, well, but that's basically it, you know. Again, connecting with the earthly realm, connecting with our bodies, you know, embracing our humanity, embracing our sexuality, you know, it's nothing wrong, because again, a lot of us out here, you know, say for instance, it should never feel complicated between you and another being. Like, you know, we're always growing, you know, we're always shifting, changing, and things of this nature. Yet you should always, like, we should never feel like we have to distance ourselves so much on our growth. Of course, you know, it is about the proper boundaries and things of this nature, but I just basically caught the download one day where I'm like, you know, some of us out here staying away from each other, like it's like basically like running, you know. That's what I felt the vibe of, you know, genuinely. But to each his own, it'll all fill out. You'll see what it is for you at the end of the day, you know. But like, I be feeling like we be running from each other, and like that's unhealthy. Like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna wait till, again, because it is about working on ourselves, don't get it twisted. But I feel like some of us are holding ourselves to, not say being miserable, but like, again, we're not connecting due to either being scared of our sexuality, or, you know, just not connected with it, or, you know, a lack of grounding, or whatever. But I feel like, you know, when I look up in that moment, I'm like, bro, you know, before we know it, it'd be years past, and we'll still be trying to be perfect, you know. Because and like the post I just posted on my Instagram, it's like, you know, if every person who, you know, is in this incarnation to help, let's just say, or everybody that, you know, that wants to help and do things, you know, in this realm, like, if everybody had to wait to be the whatever perfect is, because we're constantly growing. The only constant is change. So there's no one perfect spot. You know what I'm saying? We're constantly shifting and changing. So the idea that, I'm gonna become this type of person and sit at this at the top of the mountain in this little space and never change. Nah, things are constantly changing and shifting. You know what I'm saying? But the whole aspect is like, again, well, looking up and seeing like, all right, we went through our growth, and the whole time we all been running away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and part of the healing aspect, I feel like, again, is embracing each other and not running away. Of course, we got healthy boundaries and setting boundaries and things of this nature. But I definitely feel, especially if it's meant for you to be connecting with a certain being, on that type of level, sensual, sexual, and just energetically in general, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't seem like it's, quote unquote, complicated. Of course, again, it'll have its ebb and flows, and like dealing with certain energies, like as far as like learning how to be around your part, like, all right, maybe I talk too much, and I'm noticing it while I'm around my partner, my companion, my whatever, so I should maybe tone it down. And I ain't even say tone it down, but just realizing that, you grow and learn to grow more so from being around each other and not from running from each other. Because if I'm like, how could I know, because again, it's about being true to your essence. It's not about, because as I'm saying that, I had to catch myself so it don't get confused. I'm not saying you gotta be like what somebody else wants you to be. So like, let me see what my partner wants, or let me see, so I could be that. No, it's not that. Like, you should be with each other due to, wanting to be with each other, or due to being a divine connection. But again, like, there's just a certain feeling of like, again, we're running away. Like, I feel like if it gives me the feeling of like running from shadow work. It's like, all right, we just gonna distance ourselves this whole time, and the next thing you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 years pass. Again, now is the vibrate. Right now we should be connecting and healing. And of course, again, they have certain little spurts, because we're very sensitive to energy. They have certain little spurts where we gotta, give each other a little space, but again, the connection should feel so, in alignment, that it should never feel like one is bothering the other to that aspect, to where we gotta be so separate. And always a reminder: take what resonate, leave what don't. To each his own on your spiritual goal. Again, I'm sharing, and again, you take what resonate, leave what don't. It's like being in the now. Yes, the now is a factual thing. Like, being in the moment is a fact that it aligns us with our being, and stops us from being in a low vibrational state. But that doesn't mean that you have to listen to me when I say be in the now. Like that. That's for your inner guidance to, like, hey, you should embrace what Universe has said on that part of the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about you following your inner guidance at the end of the day. Add your inner guidance, allowing for it to flow. Embrace the bodysuit. But that's basically it, y'all. Go check out my, if you just look up Universal Frequencies and Root Chakra. Now, in fact, I got a chakras playlist, so if you just go look at my playlist, go look up the chakras playlist. But also, if you want to check out my video where I speak on the root chakra and its connection with our karmic energy and early development, check that out. Also, the sacral chakra, and the aspect of how your sacral chakra could be manipulated to kind of throw off your growth. You might want to check out that video as well. But this is basically it.